Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Playdex researcher and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled The Earth Before the Flood Cataclysm, Before Planet X. Now, the flood cataclysm which hit Earth a few thousand years ago was caused by the Planet X system. The Planet X system is a large number of star systems within the galaxy, which was destroyed through energy depletion. The core systems of the planets and stars comprising these systems became depleted in energy, which caused the planets and stars to break into pieces, the outer layers becoming debris fields, at the same time that the core systems which were inside the bodies of the planets and stars were released. These core systems started coming into the solar system at the time of the flood. And here you can see a stereo HIA image of a Planet X core system coming in, and it is comprised of a large central core and many, possibly hundreds, possibly even thousands of small satellite cores. You can see all of these here, all enveloped in cloud envelopes, which are made of volcanic gases, i.e. gases which each core creates. Cores are gravitational sources as well as sources of matter. In other words, they create matter. These core systems create all the matter that comprises a planet, all the outer layers, inner layers and outer layers of a planet. And so a planet is created from the inside by a core system like this. Now, the one that came to Earth at the time seems to have been the remains of a water planet. So a lot of ice in the form of iceberg-sized chunks of ice entered the atmosphere. In addition, this planet had a lot of satellite cores in its core system, which created water, which was why it had such a large ocean on its surface. Once they came into the atmosphere, these cores absorbed energy from the Earth and started doing what they had done inside their own planet. They created water, and thus rain in large amounts, causing the Earth to flood. The large energy withdrawal by this core system and their presence in the Earth's atmosphere led to a core reset by the Earth's core system, which caused it to split into smaller pieces as the new cores moved outwards from the center, thus causing the Earth to expand at the same time that the core system's rotational axis resets to a different tilt. So this is illustrated by this diagram. This is what is getting ready to occur right now with Earth, because there are more and more of these systems arriving and drawing energy from the Earth. But what happened at the time was such a large satellite system entered the Earth's atmosphere that its presence caused, because they are low in gravitational energy, that's what caused them to break up, the planets to break up. And so if they are over the full surface of the Earth and in the Earth's atmosphere, this triggers a core reset in which all the cores split into smaller pieces. That's what you see occurring here. This is the original core system inside the Earth, a large central core and all the satellite cores around it. And then the presence of the low energy matter, which it detects in the outer layers, causes it to go through a core reset where the satellite cores and even the main core will split into new pieces, smaller pieces, and the smaller pieces are ejected outwards further away from the center in order to get closer to the matter that it detects is now out here. So what happens is then the gravitational field of the planet changes, and that changes the surface of the planet. It causes a reformation of the surface. So where there were no mountains, mountains appear. Where there may have been a mountain, you may get an indentation in the surface of the planet instead, because the field's changing. It was therefore the flood cataclysmic event which caused the rotational axis tilt which the Earth now has. Since the actual tilt is what gives rise to the seasons, the Earth before the flood had no seasons and was much smaller with no large oceans. The Earth expanded during and after the event, which then caused ocean basins to appear into which the waters of the flood settled, thus lowering the flood level on Earth. Thus the Earth only had shallow inland lakes before the flood. In addition, there were most likely no high mountains, as these would have formed due to the core reset and resurfacing which occurred as a result of the core reset event. And this is Klaus Vogel's models, which show how the continents fit together perfectly on a much smaller globe, and how the Earth expanding can explain the current position of the land masses. So this seems to be what the Earth was like. There were no oceans. The oceans opened up when the Earth expanded as a result of the core reset that occurred at that time, with the satellite cores moving out further away from the center and creating matter and causing the whole Earth to expand. So there was no rain before the flood, as rain is created by the Planet X satellite cores, which create water within the Earth's atmosphere. And you may look at Article 695 entitled Planet X Creates Water. It started at the flood. There was no wind and no low-pressure weather systems. In other words, no storms, as low pressures are the product of gravitational sources. In other words, Planet X cores inside the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth was watered from below, as all the water was created by the Earth's core system before the flood, and it thus seems that water rose up through the layers to create a mist close to the ground at certain times of the day, according to the description in the book of Genesis. There was also no dust continuously coming down on the surface of the earth, and all the lakes and rivers contained only fresh water, as the salt is created by waterspout creating cores. And you may look at Article 778 entitled Planet X Creates Salt Through Waterspout Connections. Some dust comes in as debris, but dust is also created by dust cloud creating cores. And you may look at Article 760 entitled Planet X Dust Storms Coming in from Space. There are cores which create oil, which gave rise to the appearance of oil deposits on the surface of the earth called tar pits. And you may look at Article 722 entitled Planet X Creates Oil. Why does it not fall on land?